Hello and welcome to the first of our Wired Client tutorial videos. In this series of tutorial videos, we're going to give you a rundown of some of the most common things that you will be doing when using the Wired Client. This is the dashboard for the Wired Client. It's the first thing that you're going to see when you log in, but this is all subject to change. So some of the fields and figures that you see here will be changing by the time we actually roll out the finished product. But first thing you may be doing is setting up staff members. So to do that, you can just select staff from the menu bar at the left hand side of the screen. This is a list of all your staff members. You have some basic information about them: first and last name, their phone number, mobile number if applicable, and staff type, and we'll get into what this means in a moment. To add a new staff member, you can click this plus sign here. Important to note that you will not need to manually create a staff member every single time you create a new login. You don't have to go through these steps here. This information will actually be pushed from Practice Perfect, so it will take things like their first and last name, their phone numbers, email address, etc. The most important thing that you need to do when setting up a staff member is choose the staff type, and I'll explain the difference between the two. So a power user, this is like the administrator. This is the manager. They can do everything in the Wired Client. They can create new staff members. They can create new messages, events, campaigns. They can reply to messages, of course. They can do everything in the Wired Client. So you may want to assign the power user to the individual who's going to be taking responsibility for your use of the Wired Client. On the other hand, you also have users. So if it's just a physician, for example, a staff member whose sole responsibility is to log in and check their messages, that's what a user account is for. So they won't be able to create new campaigns or new message templates. They won't be able to create client profiles or staff profiles, but they can log in and reply to messages. So if you want to give your therapist just that status, user is great for that. So the mandatory fields are denoted by this small red asterisk here. It's pretty basic. It's just the first and last name that we require, and the business name, which will be filled out automatically. The only other field that you do need to complete is the email address. And this will also double as the username for the staff member when they're logging into the Wired Client. And I'll show you where that comes into play. So in order to set up their login, after creating their staff profile, I need to click Enable. And here you can see the business name, first and last name, the login account name. That's pulled directly from the email field as mentioned, and we'll just create a password for them. And that's how you set up your staff.